Michael Jackson was crowned an actual African king, and the family who defended him in court for over 25 years is now suing his estate, accusing him of abuse. If you think you know the king of pop, stick around because number 7 on this list will completely change how you see him. Before we get into it, hit subscribe and turn on notifications because I'm about to drop facts most fans have never heard, and you do not want to miss what's coming at the end of this video. Everybody knows Michael Jackson, the moonwalk, the glove, Thriller. But behind the icon was a man with secrets, titles, injuries, and a legacy that's still making headlines in 2026, decades after his death. So let's get into it. Here are 10 things you probably didn't know about Michael Jackson. He was crowned an African king. In 1992, during a tour of Africa, Michael visited the village of Kranjabo in Ivory Coast, home to the Agni people of the Sanwi Kingdom. The tribal elders declared he was a direct descendant of their royal bloodline. In a full traditional ceremony, robes, golden throne and all, Michael was crowned King Sani. This wasn't a publicity stunt. The Sanwi people took it so seriously that when Michael passed away in 2009, they held a 2-day royal funeral and formally requested his body be returned for burial on their land. He is still honored as a prince of the Sanwi people to this day. 2. He lied about his age on purpose. Early in his career, Michael's mentor at Motown, Berry Gordy, asked him to shave 2 years off his real age. Why? A younger, wonder kid image sold better to the public. For years, the world believed Michael was younger than he actually was, a small lie that helped build the myth of a child prodigy. 3. A Pepsi commercial nearly cost him his life. In 1984, while filming a Pepsi commercial, a pyrotechnic effect malfunctioned and set Michael's hair on fire. He suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns to his scalp that required multiple surgeries. Friends and biographers have pointed to this accident as the beginning of his long relationship with prescription painkillers, adding painful context to the years that followed. 4. He had a private library of over 10,000 books. Forget the tabloid caricature for a second. Michael was a serious reader. At his Neverland ranch, he kept a personal library stocked with more than 10,000 books covering history, psychology, art, and science. Learning something new every single day was, by his own account, one of his favorite hobbies. 5. Bubbles the chimp was his actual companion. Yes, it's true, and it wasn't just a photo op animal. Throughout the 1980s, a chimpanzee named Bubbles traveled with Michael, appeared at public events, and even stayed at Neverland. Michael reportedly treated him less like a pet and more like family. 6. He held a world record for his philanthropy. Long before celebrity philanthropy became standard, Michael set an official Guinness World Record for supporting more charities than any other pop star in history, 39 organizations in total. Much of his giving, including major donations to children's hospitals and orphanages, was done quietly with no cameras around. 7. The family who defended him for decades is now suing his estate. Here's the story I mentioned at the top. The Cascio family were close friends of Michael's from the 1980s onward, so close he called them his second family. For over 25 years, they publicly defended him, including in a televised interview with Oprah. Then, in early 2026, Cascio siblings filed a federal lawsuit against Jackson's estate, alleging he abused them as children, and saying the 2019 documentary Leaving Neverland changed how they understood their own experiences. The estate has firmly denied the allegations, calling the suit a money grab. As of this month, a federal judge ruled the case must move out of open court and into private arbitration. It's one of the most dramatic reversals in the history of Jackson's legacy, and it's still unfolding. 8. He's still one of the highest-earning dead celebrities on the planet. Michael Jackson's estate is valued at over $2 billion. Year after year, Forbes ranks him as the top-earning deceased celebrity in the world, largely thanks to the historic sale of his share in the Sony ATV music catalog. Death didn't slow down the empire, if anything, it grew. 9. The 2026 biopic Michael reignited his entire catalog. Directed by Antoine Fuqua and starring his real-life nephew, Jaffer Jackson, in the lead role, the biopic Michael hit theaters in April 2026. Since its release, his music has surged back onto the charts, with Billie Jean alone pulling in nearly 33 million streams in a single month. A whole new generation is discovering him for the first time. 10. His influence is everywhere you look, even if you've never noticed. From Usher to Justin Timberlake, Chris Brown to Bruno Mars, the visual and performance DNA of nearly every major pop star traces back to Michael. Even K-pop, one of the biggest music movements on the planet today, openly credits his performance style as foundational to its entire visual approach. When he once joked to the press, "Why not just tell people I'm an alien from Mars?" he wasn't just being funny. He knew exactly how mythologized he'd become. Decades later, the myth is still growing. So that's 10 things about Michael Jackson that most people never knew, from a literal African crown to a legal battle still unfolding today. If this surprised you even a little, do me a favor. Smash that like button, drop a comment telling me which fact surprised you most, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this one. See you in the next video.